Hey guys, Southern Tier Prepper here. So our good weather isn't going to last much longer. It looks like we're looking at the 30s around St. Patrick's Day, but while this is lasting, I figured I would come out here to what used to be our old goat pasture and tell you about some of my permaculture plans for this year. So some of the things that we're going to be planting this year is we've got lots of burdock there. It's going to be some good roots. So we're going to be doing a lot of viney plants and some new fruit trees and some bushes and things like that. So what I'm going to do is up in this area that used to be our goat pasture, they've pretty much killed all of the trees in here but one. That was their little play tire. But one of the challenges I have every year in my regular garden is that anything that I plant with vines really takes up a lot of space in the garden that could be used for other things that we use a lot of, like tomatoes and beans and peppers. So what I thought I would do this year, since this space is pretty much unused, is I want to come up here and I want to do a large area sectioned off with deer netting. And I've already got the netting, and what I'll do is I'll use as many of the old fence posts that we have and netting that off. And then what I'll do down here, sorry, I'm on a hill and I'm really out of breath. It took me a lot to get up here with my back injury and whatnot. So between the pain and the hill and just being fat and out of shape, I'm already winded. Pretty pathetic, isn't it? Something else to work on. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all this out as low as I can with loppers, a sickle, a blade attachment on the weed eater, and all that stuff. And then I'm going to cover as much of an area as I can fence in with the bird netting with weed barrier. Now, I really love this brand of weed barrier that Sam's Club has this time of year. I've been getting some of it every time I do a Sam's Club order every month because I really haven't found anything that can compare to it short of, ordering from a commercial greenhouse, which is really out of my price point. So bird netting, weed fabric all the way down. Now, instead of cutting the weed fabric to plant things in the soil, there's Sansa. The plan is to get as many 50-pound heavy-duty feed sacks of 5-year composted horse manure from the horse farm that our daughter works at. It's really quality stuff. They do a great job filling up the bags and resealing them shut, and they're the heavy-duty feed sacks, not the cheap ones that you get at some mills. And I've already started buying some of those as we go and just stockpiling them on the other side of the property. So the idea is to cover all this with weed fabric and put down the whole bag of horse manure and cut a square in the top of it, but leaving enough of a lip for the compost not to run out when it rains or when it's watered. And I will be planting all of our viney plants in that. They'll have lots of room to spread out. They'll be protected from the dogs and the chickens and deer and rabbits and whatever by the netting that we're going to be putting up. And they'll get lots of sun up here. And I can also run the hose up here, in case we have a drought situation. And again, this will all be cleared out of all this brush and whatnot. And that'll be covered up. So the other thing that we're going to do is I did purchase, this cornfield is not ours, by the way. That's, a neighboring farm. But along this it's not so much a hedgerow because there's no hedges, but along this cleared pathway, that used to be sort of a channel between our two pastures. We used to be able to rotate the cows back and forth between here. I got my husband for Valentine's Day, I got him 15 white pine seedlings. And so the idea is to plant those in a row up here, so we actually finally have some pine trees, which will be good for some biodiversity here and also for some awesome, you know, pine tea when we need it. Also hoping for some spruce trees here pretty soon, but that's something else to worry about. So then on top of the viney compost bag plants, I want to use this old fence to the best of our ability. So what I'm planning on doing is planting hardy kiwis, any of the gourds or other lightweight things that we can trellis along here. Gourds, loofahs, like I said, hardy kiwis. We already have some wild blackberries growing over there. I also want to add some raspberries. And then I also do have some trees that we can plant outside of the netted area, but of course we will, you know, wrap them in chicken wire or tree tubes to protect them from critters. I have, let's see, I gave some away, so I think I have 8 pawpaw trees left. And they are inside in a bucket of water, and they're doing fantastic. They're leafing out and everything. I have a couple of hazelnut trees to plant. I have one hardy pecan tree to try, and I've already gotten some heritage raspberries to plant. Now last year I tried planting some hacksaps and whatnot, and I don't think they did very well. I'll have to check on them where they're at. But that's actually how I injured my lower back, was trying to dig a hole in this rocky soil. Didn't work out too well for me, and now I've been kind of half crippled ever since. So if they did make it, I plan on digging them up and planting them up in here. One of the things I did do for the things I do have to plant in the ground is I got a auger tool for a drill, and hopefully that'll help soften up the dirt to the point where we don't have to try too hard. But there's also an idea I had, and one of my master gardener friends thinks it's a good idea, and we're going to try it for the trees and whatnot, is because the ground here is so hard to dig into, but roots always seem to find a way. One of the things I want to do is I want to take our saplings, and I want to take some old tires that, you know, have been outside for quite a while, so they've probably leached anything nasty out of them by now, but it'll only be a temporary fix. As I want to take those tires and plant, like, I'll cut down I'll weed eat the current vegetation down to the bare dirt where the tire is going to go, put the tire down, fill it up with composted horse manure, and plant the seedling in there with a chicken wire cage around it to protect it from the animals until it's well established. Hopefully, the idea is that the roots will grow well and grow down into the dirt underneath the horse manure, and then in a year or two, before they start to produce fruit, we can actually remove the tire and let them grow naturally with that head start of fertilizer around their base. So if anybody's tried that before, let me know. If not, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the viney plants idea that I've got going here. Again, the idea for us is to produce as much as possible and to work smarter, not harder. With my injuries and my husband's time constraints and the teenager working 2 jobs and doing our homeschool lessons, we're kind of limited on labor. But we understand the importance of being self-reliant, and that's what we want to strive for. So let's see, what have I mentioned? I've mentioned the pawpaw trees, I've mentioned the hardy pecan, the raspberries, the hardy kiwis. I do already have some grapevines, but I definitely want to add some more. They're not hard to get or hard to plant, so You know, who knows what else we'll end up with, but those are the types of things that I would also plant along the old fence so that they have something to train along and to climb. As far as the viney plants goes, those will be our watermelons, our pumpkins, our squashes, both summer squashes and winter squashes of all different kinds, bottle gourds, bushel gourds, decorative gourds to put out by the road for sale, lots of different kinds of pumpkins, because even if it's something that we don't eat personally, if it's like a gourd or something that we can't use medicinally or for crafts or sell, we're also always feeding our chickens and they love them. So looks like Sansa probably kicked up a rabbit down there, but she was over there pouncing. And you can see where we have deer trails, you know, going right here. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Those are not made by our kids or our animals. That's like a deer highway. They bed down in our orchard over there all the time. So, yeah. Oh, and the hazelnuts. The hazelnuts will probably go along the tree line too. And gosh, I have so many things planned. I should write a list before I do these videos, but I just got to do these when I can, when I think of them, and just hope for the best. I did do a monthly shopping prepper pantry haul video the other day, and unfortunately it's going to take a lot of editing. I am not good at this, you know, talking on the fly stuff and pointing out. It seems really salesman-y to me, and that's really not my personality, but I do want to help people out and show them, you know, what I do and what I have. So bear with me. I'm going to try to get that out. Hopefully I can edit it so it's halfway presentable and share that with you. If not, I've got some other ideas in the fire, and we will see you when those come out. Again, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're prepping hard because things are getting crazy and crazier. And I honestly don't see 2024 being a good year for anything. So do your best to become as self-sufficient as possible. Stack it to the rafters. Do your research and prep on.